E.N.D here, day 1 for the spoilers of Wilds of Eldraine. Finally, after I don't know how many lead cards we had, official spoiler season of this enchanted set had started. Let's not waste time and let's have a look at today's spoilers. And let's start as always with some common cards. Besotted Knight for 3 and 1 white, etc. 3 with Adventure. Betrothed the Beast. Sorcery, create a Royal Roll token attached to target creature you control. Sweetwood Witch for 2 and 1 black, it's a 1/3. When it enters the battlefield, create a food token. 2. Sacrifice a food, target player loses 2 life. Torch the Tower for 1 red, instant bargain. It means that you may sacrifice an artifact, enchantment or token as you cast the spell. It deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If the spell was bargained, instead it deals 3 damage to that permanent and use Scry 1. If a permanent dealt damage by Torch the Tower would die this turn, exile it instead. Skybeast Tracker for 3 and 1 green, it's a 2/4 with reach. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, create a food token. Knight of Doves for 2 and 1 white, it's a 1/3. Whenever an enchantment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying. Frockling Familiar for 2 and 1 blue, it's a 2/2 with adventure. Blow of Steam for 1 red, instant. It deals 1 damage to any target. Flying, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Totentat Swarm Piper for 1 black and 1 red, it's a 2/3. Whenever it or another non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 black red creature token with this creature can block. For 1 and 1 black, target attacking red you control gains that touch until end of turn. Ruby Daring Tracker for 1 red and 1 green, it's a 1/2 with haste. Whenever it attacks, while you control a creature with power 4 or greater, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Tap for 1 red and 1 green. Troyan Gusty Explorer for 1 green and 1 blue, it's a 1/3. Tap, add 1 green and 1 blue. Spend this mana only to cast spells with mana value 5 or greater or spells with X in their mana cost. For 1 blue, tap, draw a card, then discard a card. Ash Party Crusher for 1 red and 1 white, it's a 2/2 with haste. Celebration, whenever she attacks, if 2 or more non-land permanents enter the battlefield under control this turn, put a +1/+1 on Ash. Greta Sweetwood Scourge for 1 black and 1 green, etc. 3. Enters the battlefield, create a food token. For 1 green, sacrifice a food, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, activate only as a sorcery. For 1 and 1 black, sacrifice a food, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Rare cards, 3 Blind Mice for 2 and 1 white, it's an enchantment saga. Chapter 1, create a 1/1 white mouse creature token. Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, create a token that's a copy of target token you control. Chapter 4, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. Decadent Dragon for 2 and 2 red, it's a 4/4 with adventure. Expensive Taste for 2 and 1 black, instant. Exile the top 2 cards of target opponent's library face down. You may look at and play those cards as long as they remain exiled. Flying and Trample, whenever it attacks, create a treasure token. Big Goose Mother, X 1 green and 1 blue, it's a 2/2 with flying. Enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. Enters the battlefield, create half X food tokens round it up. Whenever it attacks, you may sacrifice a food. If you do, draw a card. Therefore, if X is 2, it will enter the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. It will be a 4/4 and you will create a food token that you can use it to draw a card. Sir Ginger the Meal Ender for 2 generic mana, it's a 3/1, has trample, hexproof and haste as long as an opponent controls a planeswalker. Whenever another artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counters on it and scry 1. For 2, tap, sacrifice it, you gain life equal to its power. And finally, Mythic cards, Virtue of Knowledge 4 and 1 blue, it's an enchantment with adventure. Vantra's Vision for 1 and 1 blue, instant. Copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability, a permanent you control to trigger that ability triggers an additional time. It's like Doubling Season, but for triggered abilities. Besiege the Mirror for 1 and 3 black, bargain. Search your library for a card, exile it face down, then shuffle. If the spell was bargained, you may cast the exile card without paying its mana cost if that spell mana value is 4 or less. Put the exile card into your hand if it wasn't casted this way. It's a nice way to cast Sheoldred the Apocalypse. Will and Rowan, Will Scion of Peace for 1 blue and 1 white, it's a 2/4 with vigilance. Tap, spells you cast this turn that are white and or blue cost X less to cast, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn, activate only as a sorcery. On the contrary, Rowan Scion of War for 1 black and 1 red, it's a 4/2 with menace. Tap, spells you control this turn that are black and or red cost X less to cast, where X is the amount of life you lost this turn, activate only as a sorcery. Keelan the Fail-Blooded for 2 and 1 red, it's a 2/2 with Adventure. Birthright Boom for 1 and 1 white, it's a sorcery. Search your library for an aura or equipment card, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle. Double Strike. Other creatures you control get +1/+0 for each aura and equipment attached to Keelan. There's the regular version and there's the borderless version. Something curious about Keelan, his father is none less than Oko, Thief of Crowns. Hilda of the Icy Crown for 2 1 white and 1 blue, it's a 3/4. Whenever you tap an untapped creature an opponent controls, you may pay 1. When you do, choose 1. Create a 4/4 white and blue elementary creature token, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, scry 2, then draw a card. Agatha of the Vile Cauldron for 1 red and 1 green, it's a 1/1. Activated abilities of creatures you control cost X less to activate, where X is Agatha's of the Vile Cauldron's power. This effect can't reduce the mana in that cost to less than 1 mana. For 1 red and 1 green, other creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample and haste until end of turn. Ariet of the Charmed Apple for 1 1 white and 1 black, it's a 2/4. Each creature that's enchanted by an aura you control can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of auras you control. Goes hand in hand with those new rolls. Commander Tegwin, Duke of Splendor for 1 1 blue and 1 black, it's a 2/3 with flying and death touch. Other fairies you control get +1/+1. Whenever another fairy you control dies, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Alela, Cunning Conqueror for 2 1 black and 1 blue, it's a 2/4 with flying. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, create a 1/1 black fairy rogue creature token with flying. Whenever one or more fairies you control deals combat damage to a player, gouge target creature that players control. Elivere of the Wild Core, 2 1 green and 1 white, it's a 4/4. Enters the battlefield or attacks, create a virtuous roll token attached to another creature you control. Whenever an enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Gilwain Casting Director for 1 1 green and 1 white, it's a 2/3. When it or another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, choose 1. Create a royal roll token attached to that creature. Create a sorcerer roll token attached to the creature. Create a monster roll token attached to that creature. Last but not least, the Enchanting Tales, a set full of the most powerful enchantments in Magic the Gathering. Greater Onromancy and Lentex, Kindred Discovery and Ristic Study, Necropotence and Sanguine Bond, Fiery Emancipation and Sneak Attack, Prismatic Open and Unnatural Growth. So that was the last card in this particular day 1 of the spoilers of Wilds of Eldraine. Join me tomorrow for more spoilers of this enchanting set, and as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more and more interesting videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world.